I love the final matches in Inazuma 11 games. For me, Inazuma 11 seems to always nail those final bosses. Whether you're up against a mirror image of your own team, or you're up against aliens, or people pretending to be aliens, or people inspired by gods, whatever, I absolutely adore it. And today I want to count down my top 10 favorite final bosses in Inazuma 11. Now I know what you might be saying, TXM, you're stupid, there's not even 10 Inazuma 11 games. Well, to me, some teams are final bosses without actually being final bosses. For instance, Inazuma 11 2 in my eyes has 2 final bosses, Genesis and Dark Emperors. And Go 1 has Mount Olympus and Dragon Link. They're both basically part of what is essentially the climax of the game, and so to me, they are final bosses. You can disagree with this all you want, but at the end of the day, it's my list. Also, top 10 looks a lot better on YouTube than top 6. Without further ado, let's talk about the final matches in Inazuma 11 games. Number 10, I've got Ragna. I just don't think they're that great, honestly. To me, a final team, I should know basically every player on that team, or at the very least, they should all serve some kind of importance. Ragna, no. In Ragna, you've got those 2 lovers who I can't really remember the name of, and then Simian Ape. And that's about it. Simian Ape turns into a gorilla, and I guess that's pretty cool. But aside from that, I'm just not too overly bothered about the team. And even then, I'm not overly keen on Simian. Really, I don't think he's that interesting of a villain. I like the Ragnarok tournament, but the actual Ragna team at the end, I think could have been a bit cooler. I mean, what if they had their own Mixie Maxes with historical figures from the past? That'd be kind of cool. Instead, they're just boring. Speaking of players who don't have a whole lot of personality with a lot of designs that look the same, Luna Prime Academy. Heath Moore and Dusk Grayling are fantastic, and there's a bunch of individual designs in Luna Prime I really enjoy. But not only is Aries' story insanely weak, and so this team kind of doesn't have anywhere near as much impact as they should, I'm just a bit on most of the designs. This one definitely lessens from the fact we haven't actually got to play them in the game yet, so we don't know what a lot of their Hizatsus would be like, and I haven't really had a chance to get a personal connection with any of them, and also the fact that we've only seen them in one episode of the anime, which was a terrible, terrible episode. I don't know how most people feel about the Aries finale, but for me, it was so bloody rushed. So they're a bit hard done by, but they're still only number 9. Ixal Fleet are similar again. There's just not enough cool members for me to really love the team. With that being said, I do really like the final fight against them. I like the fact they strip us of our souls. I like the fact that you have to score an insane amount of goals to beat them. Everything about Ixal Flight actually feels like a final boss, which is really cool. Just wish they got a few more cool members. Dragon Link are a team that have grown on me. I do dislike the fact they take away the final boss spot from Mount Olympus, who I think are the better set up team. But aside from that, I think the whole chess theme's really cool. I like their fighting spirits. I generally really like the designs. I think they balance between all their players kind of looking similar. They balance that with actually having some cool, unique designs through the hair. And Quentin Cinderquack is pretty cool, and I do quite like him. Genesis is the first one here where you could say they're not a final boss, but come on, they are the climax of the Alias arc. Dark Emperors is the epilogue. That's how I see it. And so for that, Genesis definitely get to be here. I mean, come on, they're so cool. The way Inazuma 11 2 builds up to them, Zine, Bellatrix, Wits, Kiwill, Nero, Glasses Guy, the other members. See, I think Genesis is the perfect example of a team that's not composed of, like, previous players who we just know, who you just learn because of how cool their designs are and how sick and unique they all look. I love so many of the Genesis members, and for this they absolutely have to be this high. But there's still 5 teams ahead of them, which just goes to show how good the final bosses are. Mount Olympus definitely are a bit shortchanged. They don't really get enough time to really do anything, but I love their designs, I love their theming, I love the fact it feels like a spiritual successor to Zeus. I love the fact their coach is bloody Axel Blaze, technically. Everything about them is really cool, and I desperately wish they got more screen time. And yes, they do count. You fight them basically as the final match. Team Ogre, to me, also do count because they're basically the final boss of Team Ogre attacks. And they are just the definition of strong. They're the definition of powerful. They're the main villains of the first bloody movie, which is a guilty pleasure of mine. Everything about Team Ogre, to me, is just sick. I just think they're rad. I would happily fight them 15 times over. They feel genuinely difficult, which is great. I love encountering them in Inazuma 11 games because they feel like a genuine challenge every single time. I think when I did a top 10 Inazuma 11 teams video a while back, I think I put Dark Emperors at number 1. I don't stand by that opinion, but I do still think they're really cool. They're the perfect mirror to Raimon, showing what they could be if they got corrupted by power. I love the fact it's all the injured members coming back to be the final boss. I adore all their moves. I love Revolution V, Shooting Star, Dark Phoenix. I love the fact that Felt, Malcolm Knight, and Shadow are randomly there. I just think they're really, really awesome, and they serve as a perfect thematic conclusion to Inazuma 11 too. Everything about Zeus works for me. I adore the theming. I'm a massive Greek mythology nerd, so for me, having Zeus be Greek mythology centric is perfect. I love the fact their captain is Aphrodite of all gods. I think that's just brilliant. I love their moves. I love how powerful they feel. In Inazuma 11 1, you feel their fucking power. The infinite TP in the first half is genuinely terrifying when combined with moves like Dash Storm and what are those, like Heaven's Time. It's sick. I just kind of dislike the fact that in the match, you've got to go and bloody do the quest with the girls. I think that's a bit boring and drags it down a little. But aside from that, fantastic. Yes, yes, yes to Little Gigants. They are, in my opinion, the best final boss in Inazuma 11. Just because of the idea behind them, basically. What if we took the original Raimon, but made them so much cooler, and made them coached by David fucking Evans? Everything about this is perfect. And not only that, but they feel genuinely really, really powerful. I love it. And their moves are really cool. And their designs are awesome, and every single member feels unique. I love it. Count me in. But yes, that is my top 10 Inazuma 11 final bosses. What's your guys' list? Make sure you let me know down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that classic stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.